Right. Alright, hello folks. So this is the Domino. Festal Domino. Alright. Detachable power supply. Alright, which I quite like. Just means you can quickly detach it. Alright. So this Domino actually cuts a domino shaped hole for like a loose tenon really, and they come in different sizes. Alright. There's your traditional biscuit, and there's your Domino. Alright, so you can see quite a bit bigger in section, and they get, you can get them that big. This is the smaller of the two machines, and basically that's the tool, and what it does is it wiggles from side to size, and you get different size tools to suit different size dominoes. Alright. When you first use it, you can set it to the dead size of the domino. Later on, you can give it a bit of wiggle room, yeah, because they're quite a tight fit. So the advice is to get the first one right, and then maybe set any subsequent ones with a bit of wiggle room. Fence is adjustable, yeah. Nice lock-in, solid lock-in jobby there. And there's a preset. Actually, it's easier to move this. You set that to your material thickness, okay? So we're going to put a domino in the end of this piece of oak, and it's 20mm. All right. So I'm going to set the material thickness to 20mm. You've also got a traditional scale down there as well. All right. And then you can set the depth of the machine with that. So if we're using a 40mm biscuit or 40mm domino, I want to go in 20mm each side. You can set it to 15 and 25 if your row is smaller, yeah. If you've got a smaller row and you just want to nip in a little bit, but I'm just going to keep it simple and set it at 2020. All right. So 2020. Just reset my material thickness to 22. Well, actually 20. All right. So that's clamped down. Right. Just talk about a few of the accessories before we go forward. This is called the end stop, and what happens is you can loosen those off, and then you can fix it to the end of the domino, and you can actually centre your timber I've run out of hands. Let's pop it on first. So it goes on quite easily, he says. So this is only the second time I've used this machine. I have to say I'm quite impressed with it. I couldn't warrant spending that much money on one because I don't use it enough. It's probably one of those tools that once you've got it, you'll find uses for it, you know. I was lucky enough to borrow this one from work, so. Right, so we're gonna, there you go. So there you go, that's the end stop set up. So now I've got a little target down there. I can then set it up to suit my row, so I can get my row in the middle like that. So we just nip it up and we check it. So it's quite a feat, isn't it? Drilling it into oak, end grain into oak. Yeah. Well, that's a good guess. Right, let's just check it. You've got graduations each side of the target there, yeah. Quite a nice milled nut for you to play with. It's good. Right, okay. So that's now set up for us. We'll just clamp a bit of timber just to give us a bit of a guide. Because I'm a little bit crazy, right? We'll just clamp that bit of timber in there like that. If you were doing a lot of these, I dare say you'd be set up a little bit more permanently for it. Just use our leg in there if it's big enough. Got a little block down there. Let's use that instead. Not long enough. Okay. So, ear protection is a good idea. Face masks and safety goggles. I've got an extractor, and I put my safety goggles on. And a good idea in a small workshop is to have air filtration. So you can get them quite cheaply. They hang from the ceiling, remote control, and it will filter out any particles in the air that the filtration doesn't pick up. Okay, right. So we're going to put my safety goggles on and give it a go. There you go, our first domino, and you can see a nice snug fit. Yeah. So now what I was going to do is just going to show the other side of it. So we're going to put one in the leg. All right, going to put one in the leg. So the little table I've just made, the legs go in like that, and like I said earlier, they have a small chamfer on the shoulder where they meet. So we can do that. We can do that small chamfer. Let's just spin it around a wee bit. Right, there you go. A small chamfer. Right, so we do it both sides. Got some break out that side from when I cut the rails, so we'll turn that on the inside. Cut the rails on my bench saw, and the blade's a bit too thick, and then we can just take the arris off the rails as well. Look, so when you're making any adjustments to the tool, always a good idea to unplug the power. And as I said, with Festool, look, it's really easy, look, just to twist and pull it off. So I like that. That's really good. So we're going to take the end stop off now, So you just loosen those, they're sprung, and then that pops off like that. These are about 40 quid, so when I first used it I thought it was a bit plasticky, but for 40 quid from Festool, it's got to be a bargain, isn't it? There you go. I'll just spin them back round like that. And then we could use these end stops. So these end stops clip on, which way round do they go? I think that way. Bear with me. They're quite simple to get on actually, once you get them around the right way obviously. Oh, there you go. Right, so these end stops fit on, and you get another one on the other side, right? And the idea is that you do your first domino, and then you can set these up so these pins align in subsequent dominoes. It's good for joining boards or good for panel work, really. Not for us today. We're probably just going to use the old-fashioned target. So there's a little target on there. All right. So we're going to use the target. So. We put a cramp in there. Alright, and we're going to come in, if that's our rail, that way round, sorry, that way round, if we mark the centre of it, alright, and then we line our target up on the centre. Now for this one, I'm going to use the standard. I'm going to use the standard setting, all right, for this one. Let's just raise you up a little bit so you can see a bit better. Right, there you go. Okay, so on this one, you can use the standard setting, but we may well need to use the wiggle room, and the wiggle room's just around there. It just gives us a little bit more space to get it in and out. But let's try this first, all right? So, connector extraction. And I found it was easier just to tease a little tiny bit off it. Using the wiggle room actually gave me a little bit more space. Using the wiggle room actually gave me a little bit more space than I wanted. So there you go. And that's our rail jointed. Simple as that. It's as simple as that. So just taking that little tiny bit has given us just a little bit of wiggle room, just enough that we need. All right. So just show you one I made earlier, as they say. that's what I made with it yesterday. And that was just cutting down some old, I had some old oak window board lying around, and the oak window board I cut up for the 25mm rails. You can see I did the rails flush like I said. Then I had a length of 45 by 45 oak, which I ripped down and just about had enough, and then replicated the splay just by creating a jig on the skill saw. So I just laid that jig on a bench saw and ripped that leg off, just like that, with a clamp on there, and then a handy hold on there. So handy hold on there and a clamp on there, and just run that off. I'm guessing quite a few of you've made wedges before when you're making stairs or wedges for various packings. It's just a bit of an adaptation of a stair jig. Alright, hope you enjoyed that. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye now.